again. All right. I feel like that's a perfect parallel for how crazy it's been, at least for me. That's funny. I saw some people were commenting about the lunar portal, and yeah, it's so intense. So I think I'm good now. I should be good. So, yeah. How are you guys doing? How are you guys feeling? Gonna fiddle around with this. All right. Much better. And can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Okay. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for your love and your patience. So yeah, I suppose we can just dive in now. It's, gosh, where to begin? As I was trying to say before, and let me know how you guys are feeling. How are you guys doing? Because I'm just going to share what I've been getting and what I've been picking up. Wow. Wow. Yeah, so the vision I keep getting is like, I keep seeing a lot of birds, but I definitely keep seeing the phoenix. And I don't always see the phoenix, so I can tell that, I know Scorpio is the phoenix, and I've been talking about that a lot, but I still just keep feeling that energy. And so I kind of want to dive into, just like a little energy update and whatever flows out with the messages that usually come through and resonate with people and what you might be going through. And yeah, whatever wants to come out. I'm not going to lie. I was feeling like really tired before I started this. So I'm just going to flow with it and see what happens. But I feel like as soon as I tune in and I feel everyone's energy, it kind of like, I don't know, it changes. It definitely changes the field. So yes, welcome, beautiful people. Thank you for being here. It's just so beautiful. And one more day until the eclipse. I can feel it. I wonder what you guys are doing, if you're doing anything to celebrate. As I was saying, I always try to set, this is a really good time to set intentions. And I've just been feeling like this process, where to even begin? Oh my goodness gracious. It's literally been so interesting. Like, I think one of the biggest things that I've been feeling is, I want to say like disoriented, but also like not necessarily in a way that's I definitely wouldn't say negative, but it almost, honestly, what I feel like is, I feel like I'm like stepping into something new. It's almost like I feel like I'm being prepared for a whole new chapter of my life, but it's definitely like uncharted territory, and it's also not happening exactly how I thought it would. But thankfully I'm at this point where I really do have so much trust in myself, and trust in my higher self and God and source and my guides and the whole team. I'm grateful to say I really feel so much trust, because I just have built that trust throughout my journey. Because I think that's one of the hardest things sometimes, even for me, like the doubt. I feel like the doubt is one of the hardest, can be one of the hardest things on this journey with anything, whether you're trying to heal or create, or you're going through turbulent times or dark times. Sometimes that can be the hardest thing, is to trust and to see the doubt and to be able to navigate through the doubt. So I'm really grateful that I feel like I'm feeling a lot of beautiful things, but definitely a lot of turbulence. Like, I just, like, time, I don't understand time, like, at all. And I know we just had, like, here in the US, we just had a time change. So that, I swear, like, that just, like, fucks up the space-time continuum so much. I always feel, like, this weird, like, collective, like, I don't know. It's, like, a weird lagging energy. And the eclipse, and what else? There's so many things going on. And I don't vote, but I know that there's like a voting day gonna happen on the eclipse. So I don't know, I'm gonna definitely be beaming out some positive energy and intentions on that day for that, I feel like that's a good opportunity. But Yeah, and it's similar to what I was saying before, because I'm definitely feeling like these old patterns arising. And it's really interesting to observe. And again, that's what I'm saying, is like trusting it. Because this is a thing, and this is, just let me affirm for you if you're feeling something like this, and or maybe you're feeling a little bit of like fear or paranoia around this. But I've just been through it so many times to where like I know that it's like I can really trust what is arising. Because for me, I'm always, again, like I said before, as long as you're really like strong, like I guess the word would be like devoted to your path, even if you feel like you're making mistakes or you're not being as perfect as you could be. But as long as you are committed to your path, like one of the best things you can do, I feel like, is really trust what's arising. Because like I kind of feel like I'm repeating myself, but I feel like we need to hear like these reminders, at least I do, of like everything that is arising in your life is arising for a reason. And the more you really flow with that, and again, that's the word, is trust. Because again, I've just had so many times where, something maybe comes out of the blue, whether it's something within me or, um, things like crazy things have been happening, but I don't really feel too like bothered by it, because again, I just have so much trust in myself and in God and the universe and my higher self, because I know that that's, it's all unfolding for the lesson to get me to where I want to go. So it's like I'm practicing what I'm preaching. It's like really finding the lesson and trusting. Um, this strange uncharted territory. I'm almost at a loss of words. I don't know how to explain it. Like I notice like patterns are coming up, like really old ones, and they're just not resonating anymore. And I'm able to like see that and really release that, and then also start to plant those new seeds of what I do want to experience. Like conscious patterns that I want to have, and like creative habits that I'm working on. So yeah, I notice a lot of that. And it's almost like the reason I feel like I'm being prepared for something is because it's like I don't know how to say it. It's so disorienting. It's really, really strange. And that's, I feel like coming from me, but, it's like time is moving weird. I feel like time is just like speeding up more and more. I don't even know, like, I don't know how to explain it. I really don't. I just feel different. I feel really, really different. Like, but the biggest thing, again, I just have to say to just complete that point is like, I'm just so thankful to have this trust, because I'm not worried about it. I'm not sitting here beating myself up about it or thinking I should be doing something else, or why am I not doing this, or why is this not happening, or, I really feel like I'm kind of thankfully outgrowing that, like that fear and that worry and that doubt, about who I am or what I'm doing. Because truly, again, I've just experienced it so many times now where I know that, I'm a creator being, and I know that things don't always happen the way that your ego expects them to happen. They almost never do. It tends to happen like in some unexpected way, but eventually, when you look back and you see, oh, that's why that had to happen. Oh, that's why that had to happen. Oh, that's why that didn't work out. It's because there was something in it that I had to learn to get to where I'm really going. And remember, this is something too that was kind of coming up, is like, this is the ascension. So it's like, again, if you're devoted to your path, and honestly, like for me, that's my first priority. I feel like that should be really the first priority. When you're here and you remember who you are, um, that it's all happening for a reason. By the way, hello everyone. My live chat is coming up now. Hello, William, Blank, Reg, Johnny, Brett. Hello everyone. I just love it. I would love, like, I wish I could like bring people on here with me. That'd be cool. Maybe we'll work on doing that. That'd be kind of like, I feel like that'd be more fun, more interactive. But yes, beautiful. All right. So what else? What else is coming through? How are you guys feeling? Hey, Doug. Patience on the path is the hardest part for me. Yes, I feel that. And hello, Rudy. Oh, Australian perspectives, William. That'd be cool. Yeah, patience on the path. And if anyone wants to talk about anything, feel free to throw it in the chat, because that's, really beautiful. I love to see, where you guys are at. It's usually all connected. It's always connected somehow. But yeah, I've been feeling that. And that's why I'm so grateful, because I feel like I'm truly, feeling threatened lately. Okay, there's so many things that are coming up now. It really is just such a strange time. Like these eclipse energies are so strong, and even I feel like this is always an intense time of year because you have October, which is kind of completion energy. So I feel like you would get into November and it's 11 or 1 or 2 energies. So it's just kind of that. It's almost like an angsty feeling, but it's like here's the biggest thing. It's almost like this is what I'm feeling is like it's almost like we were headed in this direction, speaking as individuals, like whatever we're working on. And then all of a sudden it's like we're being asked to like completely, totally change directions. But it's not even like 180-degree direction. It's like, it's not even linear. It's like we were going on this track and now all of a sudden we're like expanding into multidimensionality even more. I guess is one way that like I feel it. And I'm just trusting it. That's what I'm saying. It's like I'm not really letting my, my ego, my inner child, like, what's the word? Like overpower me. Like I feel really, really firm. Like I feel really, really just strong. Like that word I've said before, firmeza, having firmness and focus. Like I just really, really remember that. A lot of the message I shared, I guess they were really for me too, obviously, because like that's kind of what I've really been just honing in on is focusing and really just trusting and being present. That's really all I can do, when this energy is so crazy, at least it is for me. And again, for me, it's not even necessarily the things outside of me. It's more just I feel this internal expansion and change. And it really is so foreign and unknown and unfamiliar. And Brett said something about feeling threatened and feeling fear. And I feel that come up too. And a quick thing I want to share about that is just a reminder because I've observed this many times in myself is the thing about fear. Oh my gosh, people say like fear is false evidence appearing real. That is such a perfect acronym because like unless you're actually in danger, which we're usually not, the fear, so like the way I see it almost is like the fear, it's literally an energy, it's a consciousness, and when it comes into your body, and this is the thing that I feel like we have to be so honest in this ascension process about is just feeling this stuff, and not being embarrassed about it or feeling like weak about it because it's just, it is what it is. And, but when the fear comes in, it's like, I've started to notice it as like, it's a specific vibration in my body. A lot of times, at least for me, it can happen in different ways. A lot of times it's with the root chakra, not feeling grounded, feeling unsafe. And the thing is like, that's the pillar of everything. Like people don't, sometimes I feel like we don't appreciate how important it is to feel truly safe, because we usually are safe, but our nervous systems, our minds, our fear, our programming will be like not feeling safe because of why, usually it's some kind of illusion, anxiety. But anyways, the thing I was going to say about the fear, it's like an energy that comes in, but the thing is like if you aren't observing it as it comes in, and sometimes like for example, like you just wake up, sometimes you might just wake up and you feel the fear, not every day, but certain times, or maybe something just triggers it, or like whatever, it doesn't matter, it can happen in all kinds of ways. Maybe it just hits you, or something triggers you, you work into it, and you just start to notice this fear arise in your body. If you don't really observe it, it's crazy how it'll come in and it'll like this is why it's false evidence appearing real, because it will automatically try to grab your mind and grab onto whatever it can to like suck you in, like, oh, I need to do that, and then it'll be like this like record player, like, oh, I need to do that, oh, blah 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 blah. And then sometimes for me, like, then if I can observe that, I can like pull it in and be like, oh, I'm feeling fear. It's just fear. Like, it's just fear. But again, that's what I'm trying to say is like but the fear, if you don't catch it, it'll start to create stories, and then it can like just pull you into all kinds of directions until you again come back to your focus in the present moment and be like, oh, is it the stories, or is it the fact that I actually just feel fear in my body and it's coming up with reasons? Anything. It could be something pressing, or usually it's just something that's not even relevant, and it's like, oh, it's just fear. It's just illusion. It's just not that the fear itself. It's a vibration. It's a feeling, and it's not something you need to be ashamed of, because if you feel ashamed of it, because a lot of times there's so much shame around fear. Oh, you shouldn't be afraid. Oh, you shouldn't be weak. Don't be afraid. We all know that fear is not helpful in almost any situation. I think we all know that. But the thing is, because that's happened to me before, where I denied my fear. And if you deny your fear and you just try to be like super like, I don't feel fear, but you have fear in your body sometimes that can actually make it harder to just like, I don't know, a lot of times you have to acknowledge the honest truth with yourself and be like, okay, yeah, it's fear. No big deal. Everyone feels fear. We live in a fear-based MK Ultra fucking society that's literally embedded people with fear, for generations. So there's nothing to be ashamed about it. There's nothing to be ashamed about it, but just acknowledge it and let it flow through you. Like I say, don't let it overtake you. It's that middle path of like, don't repress it and deny it, but you don't need to sit there and just like completely identify with the anxiety and the fear. It's just like that middle path of like, yeah, feeling it, breathe through it. It's like there's so much power in just the knowledge, because then you can put it together and be like, oh yeah, like, am I really worried about and stressed about this and this and this, or is it just, it's just the fear? So yeah, I just wanted to come in, because there's a lot of fear around change, and things are changing, gonna keep changing within us, around us. It's truly, it's incredible. And again, that's when it comes back to trusting. And honestly, I have to say, like, again, on the trust thing, I just have to, I guess, really share. Like, I feel like it's interesting in my life. I feel like I've acquired lots of different skills, but my ability to, like, really trust, like, myself, again, myself, God, the universe, everything, whatever you want to call it, source consciousness, trust that I'm held and that I'm good and that this is happening for a reason, and I don't have to like control and get all constricted and try to control everything, but I can just, it's intentional surrender. Staying in my intention, but surrendering. That's the big word of this time, at least it is for me, is like surrender, let go. Because it's like a lot of times, because it's the fear that will be like, oh, like constrict and try to control things that we often can't control. Just let it go and let it flow, and that's when you start to see like the lesson and what's truly unraveling. It's often something very beautiful. So yeah, it's so interesting how that happens. Let me check back in with this. Back in with this chat. Hi, Angie. Yeah, well, my moods are on a roller coaster since I haven't experienced this until 2020. I know that's actually why the second time I did this, I put roller coaster as the emoji, because that's really what it feels like. It's like, ooh, like I seriously, like again, speaking with the fear and being in the unknown and being like, I don't know how to explain the state of consciousness that I've been in. Like I've been like good, but it's just like, it's so disorienting. Like, and I feel like I'm always kind of disoriented. So like that's saying something. It's like, time is moving so fast. What's even going on? Like, I don't even know how to explain it, but I'm sure you guys know what I mean. It's truly, it's interesting. That's how I see it. It's like, I try to be like, it's almost like a mad scientist about it. It's just interesting. Hello, A.A.A.H. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. So sweet. Hello, love. Yeah, the difference between real danger and perceived danger. The terror field. Interesting. Hi, Scott. Have you ever prayed so hard and so long you left your body? Actually, yes. Interesting. I fell asleep and left my body and baked all night long, and when I woke up, I knew how to make macadamia nut cookies. Well, that sounds pretty legit. That's interesting. Maybe you like travel to like some past life baker timeline or something. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep flowing. Again, feel free to share whatever you guys want to share. If there's anything you've been feeling or you want to talk about or any questions, this is definitely such a beautiful time to do that. But just continuing with this like energy update, I feel like it's like I'm feeling like new beginning energies, like big time. um Hit the gong. I'll totally hit the gong here in a minute. That would be good. I thought about that too. It's like I have to move the gong closer to me or something because I have my whole little like setup right here. But I just feel like this really new beginning kind of energy too. And as I said before, like along this theme of like the death and the rebirth, huge like energetic blueprint right now. Starting to feel like the new beginning as well, and feeling that like that's the beauty of being reborn. Wherever you are, if you're feeling this, or at some point when you feel like the transformational energies. That's why I named this "Transforming the Darkness." Is because we're always transforming. We're always transforming. We're always transforming things. And that's how we're all alchemists. I consider myself an alchemist in many ways, and that's what the alchemists do is you take something that makes you scared, something that makes you sad, something that makes you angry. It's like you take that and you work with that and you turn it into gold. And there's so much power and beauty in that. Yeah. Oh my goodness. See, I love when people share. Doug, I just saw your message. Been feeling called to give it all away before I expect to get anything back. Drop all superficial attachments, mental and physical. Yeah, I've been feeling that too. I feel like I've been really, really feeling that too. For me, I've been really, really asking myself and asking God, like, how can I give more, and how can I receive more? How can I just expand, because that's the cycle. Is like when you give more, you receive more. And so you can give even more and receive even more and just keep expanding, and it's something that's so beautiful to experience. And so I feel like a deep seed within me of that energy that is like being nurtured right now. And that's really what it is it's like being nurtured. And so it's like I can feel it energetically, but it's just strange how like the physical mirrors it, but there's a lag time because the physical realm is so dense that sometimes there's a lag time. But like you have to remember the focus and the internal realm is really what you want to experience. And in other words, what I'm saying is like, you're trying to create more abundance in your life, or bring in soul family in your life, bring more love into your life, bring in, things like this into your life physically, which is amazing. And sometimes these things take time, but a lot of the times, like if I'm doing something like that, I'll ask myself, okay, but like what is the qualities that I really want to experience though? Why do I want to experience more financial abundance? It's because I want to actually feel more free, feel more secure, have more fun, be more generous. And same with anything. Why do I want to have more beautiful relationships in my life? To feel more love, to feel more community, to feel more seen, and all of these things. So sometimes I think about that, and I'm like, how can I really start to cultivate those energetic states within me now? Because we always have God's source consciousness, just like a rainbow waterfall pouring into our field infinitely. And so we have this magnificent power, and we're getting better and better at it. And that's why these things, more and more, it's like they used to be so abstract, and maybe they still are, but more and more they're so tangible, because it's like you can really, as we continue to like have these ascension energies on the earth, you can just really feel more and more power start to come in. And it's like we're able to do things that maybe we used to do before, but now we have like a whole new power. And it's this beautiful gradual thing that keeps coming. And hello, transcode du jour, beautiful 5D friend. Thank you so much for the super chat. 999, that's such a sacred number. I love 999. I love nines. I think that's my favorite number right now, if I had one. It's just such a sweet number of completion. The song Future Love Paradise by Seal. Interesting. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. I'll remember that. So beautiful times. Beautiful, beautiful times, my friends. It's like I feel like we're on a whole new trajectory is what I'm saying. Like it's so interesting to really feel this in the flesh though. It's like holy cow. It really is a roller coaster. You know, it's like that's how I've been feeling lately. Is I feel like I'm, you know, you feel like that constriction of like going up, going up, going up. Like oh my god, any minute now I'm about to free fall, and then you finally get to the top, and then, you know, and I used to go ride roller coasters every year as a kid, so I know that feeling, and it really is like that. That's how I've been feeling lately. Is just like free falling, just like. That's why it's so important to just surrender. Yeah, toe curling before the big release. Exactly. Hello, Anna, beautiful soul sister of Illuvia. That means I love you in light language. Hello to you and your daughters. How sweet. I'm so glad you got to tune in. I miss you. Thank you, Blank Reg. I hope I'm saying that right. Blank Reg. I don't know. Blank Reg. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. Yeah. So, really just incredible. I don't even know how else to explain it. I literally see like these patterns coming up. That it's just so interesting to watch how they like arise. And when you no longer feed into them and you just are kind of more in your heart and you're more neutral and you're able to just truly be the observer. And understand, you know, we're literally evolving like so multidimensionally, so exponentially at this point. It's like that's truly how I see it. This is the evolution, and more that's what I can't I feel like that's the pillar of like today's message is like just really finding that trust. Like I said, I think that's something that I'm most grateful for of all things that I've been learning and cultivating of all skills is like truly being able to trust. It's such a powerful gift, and it's such a power when you really trust yourself, because then you're no longer like walking around with your like fists clenched at every little thing that goes wrong. It's like, okay, because it's like being triggered. Remember this, whatever you're working on right now or doing or just being, it's like, again, just a reminder that these triggers are sacred. And I know that they suck, but just remember this, the more you're triggered, the more it sucks, the more you're like so pissed off or so freaked out or so like losing control kind of feeling. I understand it's painful, but I'm sure you have learned now how to like, you know, move through that with yourself. I know it's not comfortable, but the more painful it is, it's like the greater release it is. And ultimately, like if you flow with it and you truly do the inner work with it, the more of a blessing it is. I mean, I've lived that time and time and time again. It's like the more I'm like, the rug is pulled underneath my feet, the less I resist it and just flow with it and look for the lesson. You know, I let the emotions purge and I look for the lesson. And I'm usually, you know, I'm in direct contact with my higher self and guides. So I usually just like do what I need to do to figure out, okay, this was the lesson. And when I take the lesson, it's, what else can you say? It's the biggest, it's exactly what I needed. It's like, oh yeah, like that's how it works. It's not, I'm not being punished by my higher self. It's like I'm being shown. My higher self is trusting me now more than ever to to go through this process and see the lesson. You know, that's really what it's about right now, because our higher self is like setting us up. You know, that's how I see it. Our higher self is setting us up for, I don't know how to say it other than your heaven on earth, for your dream life. If that's what you're trying to create, that's what I'm trying to create. Because that's truly what I believe is one of the greatest services we can give. The more, you know, we truly activate ourselves, naturally we're going to be able to give more to others. You know, so I feel like that's a huge part of it, and that's the ascension as well. It's uncharted territory. It really is, because it's never really how our ego expects it to be. But in a way, that's kind of the fun of it. You know, that's the fun of the roller coaster, because life is a roller coaster. You know, it's going to continue to be indefinitely, in my opinion. So it's like, just learn to have fun with it. Learn to enjoy the roller coaster and the ups and the downs and the contractions and the expansions and the releases. And it's like, it only gets better and better and better. It really, really does. Like, and it's just so beautiful to be at that point when you can really start to trust. That's really what it is. When you really start to trust where you are and what is, you just start to put faith in yourself, you know. It's a whole different life. It really is, because everything becomes so much more enjoyable. You know, even if you don't like it, you know, even if you're going through something, I'm not saying you might, you know, it's always going to be comfortable, you have to like it. But again, it's another trick that our minds will play on us, is that what we're going through is permanent. And everything is impermanent. We're always changing. You're not going to be stuck somewhere. You know, you're not going to be stuck in your situation forever. You're not going to be stuck in your fear forever. Everything is moving, especially now. That's something I noticed right away, you know, honestly, right away, like since 2012, is that there's really, I feel like there's not like, you can't really just sit and ride the fence. At least that's how I feel in my life. You can't just really sit and ride the fence. It's like change is going to happen. You know, so it's like, and so embrace it. That's a good thing, because that's again, coming back to the intentional surrender, because I set intentions. I really do. I'm all about setting intentions. I try to be as intentional as I possibly can. And it's definitely a practice, because, you know, there's still a lot of times where, you know, I can be impulsive, or I can just, you know, do something. But with everything, when I wake up, I try to have intentions. And, you know, if I'm consuming something, I'm eating something, I try to put intentions into it. You know, if I'm meditating, before I come up in this video, always set intentions. Yeah, like before I, you know, sing a song, I will set an intention. And this is the thing, this is the beautiful balance. It's like I'm always setting intentions, because it creates a whole new field. It's true. And it doesn't have to be complex, you know. It can be if you want, but it doesn't even have to be. It can literally just be 2 seconds, as like, you know, I intend to feel beauty, or I intend to feel joy or love, you know. But then this is the balance, is like you have that intention before any session. I always set an intention, because it changes it, you know. But I don't get attached to the intention. I don't sit there and try to control it, because that's the balance, that's the dance. Is like, Jesus, take the wheel, you know. Or I saw someone comment, Vishnu, take the wheel. Like, literally, like, higher self, like, I trust you. You guys are amazing. You know, literally, that's how I feel. You know, it's like, you guys are incredible. You guys are out here just orchestrating pure magic. So I'm going to trust that. And because I've literally experienced it so many times, I would have to be completely insane at this point not to trust, you know, trust my higher self and God and my guides and the angels around me. I'd have to be totally insane, because they literally come through so strong all the time on a daily basis at this point. So it's that balance of intentional surrender. You know, you set the intention, and this is for anything, you know, it's something you're trying to manifest in your life. You know, set those intentions. Be clear. We are creator beings. We are co-creators. So we do play an active role, but we're not everything. You know, and that's the beauty of it, is you don't have to do everything. You know, you have to do your work, but you don't have to do everything. You know, you have a team that's going to, and even, you know, as we start to continue to find, you know, our beloved soul family and brothers and sisters, it's like, you know, and start to build community, which is something that, you know, we will be doing in divine timing. It's like, you'll find that, you know, you don't have to do everything alone. It is so beautiful to have, have community, our actual spiritual community as well as, our community on earth. So yeah, that's the beauty of, that's kind of my mantra to remember, is intentional surrender. Surrender, or setting those intentions, but again, like literally surrender, just let it go, let it go. Like, because again, every time, at least in my, just speaking from my experience, it's like when I find myself, usually it's when I'm like triggered. So like, and it's usually fear, it's usually fear for me. It's like, ooh, anxiety. And then it's like, gotta control it. But more and more, I find myself really naturally being like, wait a second, just let it go. It's not under my control. It's truly not under my control. And there's so much like in that, even if you are uncomfortable or going through something uncomfortable, when you have your intention and you trust yourself enough and you trust, again, like the divine realms enough, and you can just surrender and let it go, that's when so much magic happens. It's truly incredible. So just, remember that. That's the beautiful dance. Hey, Cosmic Cat. Yeah, ride the astral waves. Let's see. Kind of go up here. Thank you so much, Brett. Oh my gosh, thank you so much, you guys. Always, super chats, always so appreciated and never expected. Thank you. Yeah, okay. If I miss anything, feel free to say it again. I am on my phone. Have you ever looked a cymbal or a gong? I can't say that I have, but maybe if I'm feeling adventurous, I'll try it. Hey Vince, doing any ceremonies tonight? Yes, I am planning on it. I'd actually try to have a fire every night. If I can't have a fire, even if it's just like a few sticks or something, there's like a lot of like, fire is so transmutive. Like, actually that reminds me of another thing that I kind of want to talk about in a second. I'll remember that. Just keep going down here. These talks always make my flesh feel like it's lightly vibrating. Wow. Yes, I love that feeling. That's that beautiful life force energy. Let's see. Oh, and I saw someone that said I should teach Reiki, and that is something that I've been thinking about. It is something that I've actually done, but I haven't really been offering it like online. But if people are interested, I could totally do that. To get this divorce processed. If you haven't already, cord cutting. Cord cutting is really important, as often as you need to. Yeah, you're on a divine mission, but training is on the job. Have to learn to take it easy and trust the boss. Exactly. And then I have a friend who comes on here sometimes. He says we're the boss's kids. We are. It's so funny, but it's so true. Yeah, because another thing too is like this, we've had, many of us, all of us really, we've had so many lives, whether it's, here or somewhere else, but even just on the earth, so many past lives where we've been collecting for thousands of years so much information, about this realm, about how it works, about, all these, what people call supernatural abilities in ancient Egypt and Atlantis, and there's been so many mystery schools, some of them known, some of them not known, where we've been collecting this information. So it really is in us. It's in our spirit. It's in our DNA. So this is a life where we're really learning how to remember and activate it, because it's already there. That's really the beauty, is it's already there. But I want to go back to what I was saying about the ceremonies. For me, I've kind of been I guess I live ceremonially in a way. I try to, like, that's what I mean by living intentionally. I can't say I have like any specific things. Like, I don't know, I kind of just intuit, I guess, what I should do. I kind of just, people say download. I kind of just like receive that. So A lot of times it involves, for me, always fire. I love fire. Fire is God's source energy. You know, I always, you know, like I was saying, I like to have fires, or at least have a candle, you know, before I go to bed, because of fire. Again, speaking of alchemy and being alchemists, it's like it actually transmutes. You know, the fire actually can transmute like any old energy, you know, from the day. And I notice like I have really beautiful dreams, you know, when I have a fire, really intentional fire. And then another thing I like to do is write. You know, I like to write, and you know, maybe what people call daydream, but really it's actually going in my third eye. And you know, and we all have this. You know, if you've never done this before, the thing about the third eye, I want to have a whole video on this as well, is like it's a muscle. So you have to exercise that muscle. It's drink on, you know, you got to exercise that muscle, you know. That's funny. It's something you exercise. And again, a lot of it is like overcoming a lot of the doubt we have. You know, it's like, oh, because sometimes I see this a lot, is like people will have like these really, like when they're explaining it, it's like they're having these detailed visions, and they're like, yeah, but like I don't have like those abilities. And I'm like, you just explained to me this really intense vision you have. Like, you know, it's like I feel like at some point to learn to trust yourself and just tune in. Because a lot of times, like for me, okay, I think I'm back. What was I saying? It's really, the third eye. It's something you have to practice, you know, and it's really important, and it's really rewarding, because I understand it can be frustrating at first. It's like, you know, it's like, oh, I don't know, it's really fuzzy. Or a lot of people, if they're not seeing, like, a lot of people, as they're starting to develop their third eye in their senses, and that's what I mean by third eye, your inner sight. And sight isn't just seeing, it's also feeling and hearing and just knowing. You know, for me, that's a lot. I'm a lot more feeling and knowing, and I practice like being able to interpret these subtle vibrations, you know, because a lot of people, if they're not seeing like an exact crystal clear like HD movie in their third eye, they're thinking that they have no abilities and they can't even see it. And some people do have that. It's very rare people have that like naturally, but it is a thing. I mean, I guess naturally I'm saying like it wasn't beaten out of them as a child because we all, you know, we're all born with these things. But it is something you can develop, and everybody hasn't like clairvoyance. Everybody has, you know, usually some people have like one or two clairs that are most powerful. So maybe you are, you know, your sight is really clear, or maybe you can feel, your empathy is really, really strong, or, you know, for some people it's a direct knowing. Like, you don't, there's no way to explain it. It's all of a sudden you just have a knowing, you know. And for me, that's a lot. You know, I can like see, but it's because I've been practicing my feeling and knowing for so long. And that's what I was going to say. So it can be frustrating. I feel like people get frustrated and discouraged. They're like, oh, I can't see. But it's like, that's why it's a practice. And it's a muscle. You have to literally, you know, just like any muscle. Your third eye is literally like a muscle. You have to practice, you know, just a little bit if you can every single day. Practice, you know, whether you want to see an image, or, you know, that's a big one for me, is like seeing scenes or images, or like a lot of times I'll see like you know, animals, or just pictures, or even just colors. Like it all actually means something, and it's really worth practicing, you know, or the feeling and the knowing it. And if you're one of those people, I really recommend writing. If you're not already writing, and practice writing. You know, for me that was a big one to start, because sometimes it doesn't even feel real, and you start writing it and it's like, whoa, like where did this come from? And it also has to do with, you know, that video I was talking about, sovereignty, about being really, really energetically clear. Because I know a lot of people have fears about like channeling or like receiving information from like influences that you probably don't want to receive information. And that's a really valid point, and that is really, really important. You know, that is really, really important. So it is good to have those concerns, but at the same time, I feel like you shouldn't let it stop you from accessing your abilities. And if you haven't watched that video, Staying Sovereign in the Matrix, that'll totally help you to understand, like, because that, you don't even need to, you know, if you are really sovereign, then you can trust, and the more you do it, you know when it's your higher self, you know. So I don't know, I just kind of wanted to share that for a second. Speaking of like the fire, and connecting this even to dream time. Like, this is something so important and valuable that I'm so grateful to learn from, you know, one of my most beautiful teachers, Rising Phoenix A.U.R.A, which if you don't know her, then, you know, I would say look her on YouTube, because she is so beautiful and such a loving and just fierce teacher, but and beautiful being. But how important it is dream time. You know, for example, for years, you know, and I still do this. I always do this. It's just like, it makes me so happy to do this. When I wake up, I you know, I always, my first thing when I wake up is I'm gonna like meditate, even if it's for like 5-10 minutes. I'm gonna, like, you know, do whatever I need to do to get in my body and to feel clear and to connect to God, connect to my higher self, connect to my intentions, connect to my breath, because I just know when I do that, I'm gonna have an amazing day. You know, that's just, it's amazing. You know, I love doing that. But it's the same thing for going to sleep. You know, it's the same exact thing, because your dream time, whether you remember your dreams yet or not, when you go to sleep, you are literally like leaving your body and you are going back to your higher self, and, you know, doing all kinds of things, traveling, healing, activating, creating, manifesting. Like, you are doing all kinds of things in your dream time. So I've learned to have great reverence just as much when I start the day as when I end the day. You know, and I'm grateful for another day, and I'm literally, you know, preparing myself to go into the dream realm, and set in the same thing, like in the morning, like connect to my breath, you know, set any intentions that I maybe have to do in the in dream time, you know, whether it's you know, talking to my guides about something that, you know, I want some guidance on, or creating something, manifesting something, healing something. You can heal so much in your sleep. It's incredible. That's the best thing. The best thing you can do if you have an issue, whether it's emotional or physical or mental, like, ask, you know, for some beautiful healing in dream time, and it's like you can do so much like that. So yeah, I don't know what made me think of that. I guess the ceremonial thing, because I mean, every day it's like a ceremony for me, and it really is. So let me just scroll back up. I don't know, Angie said she's got to run. Goodbye. So grateful to see you. A.A.A, I've never looked into that. I've never even heard of it. But cord cutting, I think that's a pretty, I don't know, universal thing, because you can actually see it. Is like, we actually do have cords. And some of them are, you know, organic and, you know, like, connected to, you know, our soul family and people we love, and some of them are can be really, really draining, really draining, and you don't need them. So, you know, I talked about that again, and being sovereign in the Matrix video is, you know, cutting all cords that no longer serve us, because that can seriously drain so much of your energy. It's really easy for us to, like, create cords with things that we get attached to, or people that are, or things that are attached to us. Beautiful Anna says, highly recommend any of Regan's sessions. Absolutely life-changing. Her heart is so pure and loving. Thank you so much, beautiful sister. I seriously miss you so much. I can't wait to talk to you soon. Yeah, I guess. That's so funny. Thank you so much, Twan55. You and your channel are life-affirming. Thank you. You guys are amazing. Yeah, we're sure there is an eclipse in the next 12 hours. Really looking forward to it. This one is really, really powerful. So I'm definitely going to go by the fire tonight and tomorrow probably too. And just really, like, connect to that energy, connect to the nature energies. That's, like, that's like my heart form. Like that's just my heart ceremony because it just makes me so happy. It's snowing up here in Alaska. Oh my goodness. It is that time. Project North Farming. Brett says, here's a powerful method. Write an intention on a sheet of paper. Tape the message to a container of drinking water and a message towards the water. Yes, it's so beautiful to get creative like that. You know, and that's what most people recommend, and that's, you know, what I would say too, especially if you're trying to, you know, have an intention or you're trying to manifest something, you know, whether it's a new belief or a feeling or a state of being, or even if it's something in the physical world. Like, yeah, you can use water. Water holds intention, it holds energy really, really well. So there's a lot of things, you gotta get creative, you know, you guys, come on, you gotta get creative. And sticky notes or writing things down. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I'll, like, if I really feel inspired, I'll go on like a rampage and I'll write these like beautiful affirmations and I'll place them around where like I'm always at. And it really does work, you guys. It really does work. At least it works for me. So yeah, it's beautiful. You know, another thing you can do, if you, this is a really common ceremony, but I'll share it in case anyone's never heard of it. Speaking of fire, and this is a really good time to do it because again, we're in Scorpio and we're in this eclipse portal. It's something you can do is like get a piece of paper and a pen and write down. And again, you can make this your own. Make this your own. I completely recommend that. But just I'll give you this as like a template. Is get a piece of paper and write down, for example, everything you're ready to let go of. You know, it could be limiting thinking patterns. It could be old habits. It could be fears or whatever. And write it on a piece of paper and burn it in the fire with the intention of it's transmuting it. So that's something you can do. And again, I always encourage you to have reverence for anything like that because it's like, it's so beautiful that we can do that, and that is such a powerful act that you can do. But I find it's most powerful when it's like you recognize, again, with your neutrality, with your heart, you recognize, oh, that's something that I don't really want to keep playing in anymore. You know, again, like maybe it's like old habits or patterns. I see it. I'm ready to let it go. And also, if you can, like, have reverence for what it's taught you. You know, because again, it's that contrast that is truly, when we transform it, it's our greatest gifts. So I feel like when you really have that attitude genuinely towards it and you've learned the lesson and you have respect, you're not trying to like just get rid of it. You're like, you know, because I feel like you're still having an attachment if you're like that. But if you're like genuinely honoring the whole experience and the lesson and you're like, okay, you know, so glad, like, and that's just how I look at it at this point. It's like, you know, so glad I had these lessons in unworthiness or scarcity or whatever it is, you know, for you in your life. Because think about it, like really take the time to think about all that it's taught you, you know, and all that you got to experience because of it. You know, even though it probably wasn't fun at the time, but you know that you can change it now. And you know that you have the ability to create, you know, again, if it's scarcity, now you can create abundance. But it's the scarcity that is going to show you how to really appreciate that abundance. And if you come out of scarcity into abundance, you now transformed your own self so much. And not only that, but now you can help other people do the same thing. You know, whether it's just being a living example or even like if you end up teaching people, you know, that's really, really beautiful. You see the most amazing teachers, you know, we always have a story like that, you know, like they really had something in them that they had to transform. So it's just looking, you know, things like that. It's like really having reverence for it, you know, but it's like, and letting it go gracefully. I feel like it's a really, really powerful way to truly step out of those patterns without feeling attached and feeling, you know, because if you have this fear and this desperation around it, it's kind of like you might not have, you know, you might not really be ready to let it go. Not always, but it's just something that, you know, I wanted to say. Thank you so much. You guys are so sweet. Yeah. Pictures are huge. Another thing too, I know I'm all over the place, but you know, people do vision boards for manifesting, and that's definitely a real thing. But personally, one of my favorite things to do is I'll make a movie. You know, I'll just make like not like a movie, but I'll take like pictures of things that I want to create in my life, and I'll put music in the background, and I'll put like affirmations on it, you know, that I'm trying to like integrate, and I'll watch it, you know, if I can throughout the day, but I try to watch it like when I wake up and before I go to bed. That's a really powerful tool for manifesting. It is for me, at least. Oh my gosh, Vince, that's a really good question. Okay, so he says, are you familiar with the anti-New Age movement within the existing? I found a guy who believes in chakras, but also that they ought to be removed and things like that. Had no idea. So I've seen that. And that whole thing is so strange to me. Just really, really, really use your discernment with anyone. You know, I don't know exactly who you're talking about, but I've seen things like that, and it's very inverted, in my opinion, like in my perspective. I'm just being honest. You know, I know that might be a bold opinion, but like that stuff seriously, like, is strange. Yeah, we're supposed to have chakras. That's like our energy centers. Like, I've seen that. I've seen actually, this is just what I've seen again. Because the thing is, you guys, I have so much reverence with these topics because it's when you start getting into like energy and the quantum realm and these types of things, it's so important. Like like it might not seem like it might seem like it's like not real, but it's like you really, really, really need to have discernment and and like really, really be careful because I've actually seen people that went to people like that who say crazy stuff like we're not supposed to have chakras, who in my opinion they're like it's really inverted, and they actually go get their like they get their chakras removed and like and sometimes like I don't know people get really weird energetics like that had to actually you have to find like a legit healer. You be really, 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 really careful, you know, with anyone that does energy work on you and make sure you really, really trust them, that they're like a clear vessel, you know, it's really, really important, you know, so important to have discernment. And if you can find one, you know, then that's beautiful, but you really should be careful with that. Yeah, and other than that, like the anti-New Age thing, to me that's just so strange. I mean, I get it. Like, I kind of get it because it's like with anything, you have like some New Age people that are totally bonkers, like with any movement or with any religion. But it's also just seems, yeah, kind of like William said, a lot of things people call New Age is actually like predates a lot of religion. So it's just, I don't know. I just try to stay away from labels in general. It's like, strange. Strange. It's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, people, it's a strange one. I don't know. I've seen stuff like that before, though. Good evening, Terry. Thank you, Rick, so much. Thank you for your willingness to share. Thank you. You might have to turn the brightness down. So, yeah. Just kind of a beautiful little flow there. I hope this is helpful. Is there anything else anybody wants to share or bring up, or did I miss anything? You know, feel free to say it again. It's like I am on my phone, so I gotta keep up with the live chat. So beautiful. Well, you guys, it's just what a great opportunity we have. You know, all my love to you too. Thank you, Brett. Thank you all so much. Thank you for your support and your love and your care and your generosity. Thank you for your brave courage for being here and continuing to show up. And thank you for just being you. Huh, that is interesting, Scott. I don't know if I know exactly what you're talking about, but I know a lot of the times you know, there's different beliefs, but a lot of times the feminine is counterclockwise and the masculine is clockwise. I have to look into that. Interesting. But yeah, overall, it's such an amazing opportunity. Trust, 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 trust. Trust that your higher self has got you. Connect with your higher self. Ask your higher self for guidance. You know, Jesus, take the wheel. Higher self, take the wheel. Intentional surrender. That's the biggest one coming through right now. Would you agree that this this is about a personal spiritual walk trying to fix it politically? 100%. At least for me, you know, I feel like I only speak for myself. I know people have different roles to play, you know, and we come here with different roles to play. And obviously, we have these political systems that people play in, you know, whether it's they're negative or positive. And so, you know, I respect that. And there's different, people just have different roles, you know. But for me, ultimately, I don't feel called into the political stuff. I used to be, but it's not really, for me, it's like, you know, even if we had somehow the perfect system, if consciousness still is at the same level and hasn't evolved, you know, if you still have people that are like totally unhinged and like just, you know, really programmed and stuff, I just don't think that it would change much. So my main focus is like the consciousness level and trying to raise consciousness, you know, people feeling valuable, feeling loved is a huge one, you know, because that's another thing that was kind of coming in is like, whatever issue you're dealing with, if you ever really want to simplify it, like really simplify it, it needs more love. You need more love. Whatever it is, you need more love. That's what it is. Ultimately, you want to simplify it. It's like, you know, if you're feeling lack or you're feeling anger, you're not feeling good enough, or you're feeling stressed, it's like somehow, you know, it's like you need more love. And so if you can find a way to let that just, again, it's so nice to simplify it sometimes. Just let that love come in, that because in our egos will be annoyed at that sometimes, because it'll be like, okay, yeah, love, whatever. Like, I want answers. But really, the love will come in and then you'll have your answer. You know, so that's when, you know, again, we need to kind of humble ourselves. But yeah, with the political, that's just how I see it. And like I said before, if you missed it, you know, anyone, like, I think it is interesting that the at least here in the U.S., I don't know much about this. I don't tune in. I'm not. I don't know. I don't really like to be a part of it, a part of any of that stuff really. But that's just me. But I know that they're having like a voting thing on the 8th, which is the eclipse, which is tomorrow. Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like it's a good opportunity to send some love and set some intentions that, you know, whatever happens, it truly is for humanity's highest good. That, you know, the honest integrity can truly come up and shine. You know, that's my intention. Truly, it's really, really powerful, and it is important for, you know, loving people to just take the time to set that intention. You know, and again, if you're not in the U.S., you can apply this to your own, you know, whatever's going on. But that, yeah, the eclipse is, it's tonight. I think no, I don't even know what it is. I thought it was in the morning, but yeah, it's like, ultimately it's going to be the consciousness that influences everything. You know, because another way that I really see it, and again, it's like, you know, there's lots of different moving parts about it, but you know, you have like this government, which is such, in my opinion, an illusion. You know, I mean, I guess there maybe is some substance there, but then you go, it's almost like, you know, the pyramid, and then you go up and it's actually the corporations that are controlling all that, and then it's actually, you know, you get high enough and it's actually like the occultists, you know, ultimately it's the occultists that are like, with their spells and their, you know, if we're talking about the Matrix, like their black magic and all that stuff like that. And then again, that's where it comes back to consciousness. And, you know, people call us light workers or whatever you want to call yourself, a being of light that's here. You know, an occult just means the unseen. You know, it just means the mysteries. It just means people who are actually aware of this and they can see through the mind control and the illusions. To me, that's really who has the power. You know, positive or negative, that's who has the power. So that's again why our role is so important, you know, of setting these positive intentions, it might not seem like a lot, but it is, trust me, because again, above these like illusions of control is the people who, again, you know, we've all seen it, we all know the people who actually they know how to manipulate reality, and those are the people that are actually you know, in a way they're the ones that have been controlling it. And you know, the way I see it is it doesn't have to be like that, because there's so many people awakening now. So as we awaken, we have more power, we have more, it's like we have more bandwidth, we really have more power to be able to influence things through our intentions, through our heart, through our energy. It's very, very real. Very, very real. Any, you know, if you ever see like old occultists, I mean, they usually don't reveal themselves, but if you ever see them, they're, I mean, they're literally like, like they know this stuff is real. So, you know, don't even doubt that this stuff is like completely real, you know, once you start awakening. We can have wizard spell battles with the occultists. Yeah, I mean, that's probably some of the stuff some of us are doing in dream time for sure. You know, that's definitely a real thing. So, you know, that's why I talk about, again, staying sovereign in the matrix, shielding, and doing these types of things, because it's very, very real. And I'm not trying to be freaky, I'm just saying, you know, it's just something to be aware of, in my opinion, because it's like, we live in duality, so, you know, I don't know, I'm not going to go too crazy, but it's just like we have people like us who are, you know, broadcasting love and light and truth, you know, and but then, you know, there are people on the opposite side of the spectrum, and, you know, they're broadcasting what they're broadcasting. So just remember that that's how powerful you are, and that's how important you are, you know, beyond the facade of the world stage and the political stuff, which again, I think everyone has a different role to play. You know, to me, that stuff, you know, it's for those people who are wanting to still play that game, but I don't really feel like I'm not interested in playing that game. So, did I miss anything? Yeah, government is, yeah, mind control. That's exactly what it is. Well, you guys, I hope you enjoy your eclipse. Maybe we'll go out, you know, with a quick little meditation, a little prayer. Is there anything else? What a beautiful little chat this was. It's so beautiful. I love it. And if you guys didn't know, on my website you can actually find my offerings. I do aura, past life regression, and Reiki, R.A.A.H, which is really, really beautiful, really, really sovereign energy work involving angelic alchemy, sound baths, so many beautiful things, you know, clearing entities, entity removal, implant removal, energy, all 13 chakras. And the most important thing is that I'm just the bridge, I'm just the facilitator. So your higher self is actually doing all the work. And, you know, there's plenty of testimonials, and you can ask anyone. It's always your higher self that's actually doing the work. And that's why all healing is self-healing, and that's why it's so powerful. You know, it's truly life-changing. You know, I have to... I feel like I need to learn how to like market myself more, but it's like it really is powerful. Like it literally will, you know, you'll feel like you're in a totally different reality, you know, and it's all your higher self, you know, really connecting to your higher self and clearing out these old things that no longer serve. And it can manifest in many different ways. So, you know, if you're interested in that and you like my work, then that's something that maybe you should check out, because it's really fun, you know, it's really fun. It's really beautiful to connect with people one-on-one and, you know, be able to be a facilitator for these life-changing experiences is my greatest joy. So, thank you all so much for being here. I love you all. I thank you all. Happy Moon Day. Enjoy the eclipse. Set those intentions, you know, release all those things that no longer serve you, and don't be afraid of coming into the new. It will feel new. It will feel different. Sometimes, you know, we're so comfortable in our old stuff, you know, that it can be hard to change. But remember, you know, it's going to be so worth it. This is the ascension, baby. This is the ascension. You know, my guides literally tell me that all the time, remind me, like, this is the ascension. This is different. You know, this is a different time than it has been. So just remember that. It's truly incredible. All right, you guys. Again, all my love to you. And we're going to have a little meditation to grow. And again, I encourage you all to, just enjoy these energies. Remember, it's such a beautiful, powerful time. And even if you don't do anything, you don't have to do anything formal, but just be. Just be. Just enjoy it. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the roller coaster. Okay. All my love to you. And if you can now, it'd be a beautiful time to just start taking in some big, deep breaths. Maybe even the biggest breath you've taken all day. And just let it all out. And if you can, think of an intention. One word, if you can, that comes to mind. What's the first word that comes to mind that you feel? Maybe it's multiple words, that's okay. Just feel into it. What do you want to create more of in your life? What do you want to feel right now? And breathe it in. And breathe out any doubt, any resistance. Real easy. Coming back into your body and back into your heart. Releasing all control just for a moment. Releasing all the fear or stories or anything that's making you feel contracted. Just release the tension. Come back to this beautiful, sacred, eternal moment. Remembering who you are. An infinite child of God with a very important purpose. And imagine yourself in a beautiful bubble of white light. And this is your light. This is your infinite light. Just see and feel and know that it's around you. And let this beautiful light shine on and through your body, lighting up all of your cells, filling your brain, and your bones. And as you feel this white light getting brighter and brighter, all within you and around you, breathe it in and allow yourself to feel that power. And this is your power, and this is your God-given right. Feel it move through your body. Maybe it's tingly. Maybe you feel the heat or the cold, or maybe you don't feel anything, but you know it's still there.